Hello and welcome to PlayStation Grenade. Over the course of a typical video game, you will slay countless enemies. Don't worry though, we can hide behind the fact that it's a video game to disguise our own sociopathic tendencies. By the time we reach the final boss, we are so driven that we will take them down by any means necessary. On a few special occasions, we go to extremes and kill the main antagonist in ways that are so over the top, they need to be put in list form on a YouTube video. So here are 7 times overkill was underrated. Oh, and just in case you haven't guessed already, spoilers incoming for the following games, none of which come after 2014. Deadpool has always been a fourth wall breaking oddball, and that transferred over to video games perfectly. Just ask Wolverine.
Wolvie, time to wake up.
Rise and shine, Stubby. Wake up. Up and at 'em.
Fine then.
That's for all the clown jokes. That's for never calling just to say hi. That's because I get aroused when I slap people. That's for all the furry midgets of the world.
In the 2013 Deadpool video game, the Merc with the Mouth went up against Sinister, a supervillain with superhuman strength, telekinesis, concussive energy projections, and telepathy to name a few skills on his resume. During the final battle, Deadpool and the X-Men take on multiple Sinisters until they find and identify the real Sinister, and then this happens. An uppercut to the groin, followed by a time-travelling dog riding a sentinel's foot to stomp out victory. I'd explain, but the randomness is better if I don't. Oh, did you see all the squishy bits fly? Oh, and extra kudos for the Star Wars pose to finish. Nicely done.
Seriously, roll credits. We're done here.
The Evil Within is a daunting jump scare filled pant-wetting survival horror thrill ride. It's basically every horror film you can imagine rolled into one, starting with a policeman called to a mental hospital. What could go wrong? By the end of the story, we are forced to take down some weird and wonderful enemies, which all seem to be guarding a brain. Well, it turns out that this was all a dream, or rather a nightmare. So how do we defeat this final boss? The brain the enemies were guarding actually belongs to Ruvik, who's been slowly feeding us nightmare fuel. Not anymore, darling. One boot versus one brain. That's one way to get to the lobotomy of this. That was an attempt at a lobotomy joke. Didn't go well. Move on. Did you ever play Sleeping Dogs? What a game that was, playing as an undercover cop taking down organised crime. The final battle has you facing Big Smile Lee. I'm unsure if that's his real name or a nickname, by the way. With our character facing certain death, Lee has a gun to our head, but he makes the typical bad guy error of talking instead of shooting.
I am gonna enjoy killing you myself. F you.
This feud can only end in a kung fu face-off.
Is that all you got?
They say
Wei Shen prevails, and we're certain to arrest him like the good cop we are. But then a prompt pops up on screen. Throw Big Smile Lee into the ice chipper? You don't have to tell me twice. What the heck did we just witness? This is why people don't trust the Popo. Just Cause has kept us enthralled with explosions and questionable physics since 2006. Rico's mission is to relieve dictators from their power, but he doesn't tend to end their days with a simple bullet. In San Esperito, Rico takes down Mendoza in what appears to be a one-on-one duel aboard an aeroplane, but then things take a change in direction when the dictator makes a break for it.
See what happens when you make me angry? What a mess.
Rico reappeared in Just Cause 2, but this time the dictator he needs to take down is aboard an atomic submarine. After fighting through troves of enemies, he finally faces Baby Panay. Hey, I don't make these names up, honestly, these are legit.
I have news for you. I have 4 nuclear missiles ready to blow. So if the Chinese, Japanese, or Russians try to screw me, well, they're in for a nasty surprise.
And the 4th?
What do you think? It is of course pointed at the very wart on the face of the earth, America.
Anyway, once Rico tracks down Panay, they somehow make their way onto nuclear missiles for the final fight.
I told you, I am invincible! I'll have them tear off your skin and bolt you to a tree! Your suffering will be the stuff of legend!
Looks like you'll be spending some time with your beloved oil after all.
After a little scuffle, Rico jumps off just in time to see the dictator blown to pieces over an oil field. So Rico freed the country from oppression, but then nuked its only way to prosper. Nicely done, sir.
The spoils of our little revolution. That fossil sludge would have started the mother of all wars.
Sniper Elite brought us one of the greatest video game mechanics of all time. Slow motion, X-ray bullet damage. Playing as a sniper during the Second World War, we've seen some nasty sights in order to rid the world of a Nazi regime. In fact, since 2001, we've been cracking skulls, popping lungs, and taking down Hitler in many ways. But the most satisfying of all the methods is the sacred nut shot. We really do this to identify if it's Hitler or one of his lookalikes, because supposedly Hitler only had one plum downstairs. Wow, that's nuts. I can't have a list of epic ways to kill a final boss without Modern Warfare 2. This was arguably the greatest time to be a Call of Duty player, with both the campaign and the multiplayer being absolute perfection in my eyes. The campaign in particular was a masterpiece, and the final battle lived up to expectations. After being double-crossed by Commanding Officer Shepard, we fill the boots of Soap McTavish, attempting to track down Shepard, who immediately does this. So things didn't really go to plan, and a few minutes later we'll be dead. Unless... saved at the last second by Captain Price. Soap watches on as Shepard literally gets away with murder. But then the brilliance begins. Pulling a knife out of his own gut and straight up launching it into Shepard's eye socket. Now that's the ultimate way to defeat an end boss. Oh, and don't worry too much about Soap and Price, they are okay. Well, for now at least. So there you go, there's 7 extreme ways to take down a boss. I know there are so many more, so please let me know which bosses you've killed in epic or grotesque ways, and I'll make a follow-up video showcasing those moments. Oh, one last thing, we now have a Discord, so if you'd like to join, please do so, the details are below. We're looking to build a community, but I'll tell you more about that if you choose to join. Thanks for your time. I'm Adam from PlayStation Grenade. It's been a pleasure. I'll see you next time.